Hey guys, Scott here, and I wanted to go over this whole killer formula thing. I've been working a bit more, and I kind of refined it a bit. The whole goal of this is to have a sort of universal formula that people can make tier lists off of. It isn't like a tier list in itself. It's just something you can use to determine placements and things like that. This is a refinement of a formula I worked on yesterday, and I uploaded a video of working on it, basically. The whole video yesterday was just a live experiment. I don't know why people are treating it like it's a full tier list. I guess I really shouldn't have titled it Power Rankings or whatever. Because like I said in the beginning of the video, it was just an experiment to see if I plugged in numbers into this formula, if things made sense. And over the course of the video, I was going, that actually doesn't make sense, or that actually makes a lot of sense. So I try to make it clear that it was supposed to be an experiment, but people are clawing at each other's throats over opinions in it, and I'm just sort of cackling in the background going, it ain't that serious. There was like no thought put into it. I should probably relax a little bit. But I do like the math behind it. I don't care about the tier list, but I do like the math behind it. So the whole goal is to make a universal system that people can make these lists off of. And I wanted to refine and explain things a bit more so they're less subjective, or as little subjectivity, is that a word, as possible. So let's go over what the refined things are now. M is still map control, but I simplified the definition a lot. I included in the previous version just like a bunch of stuff like if they can cross the map or hit things across the map, things like that. I want to make it clear that map control is literally just the ability to stop survivors from doing gens. The pig has map control, despite the fact she can't get anywhere fast. Her traps make it so survivors cannot really work on gens or they die. So I want map control to be simplified as basically the ability or the tools that the killer has to make survivors not do any generators. The bottom bound would be that you have nothing. The survivor can work on a gen in your face and they just don't care. And then 10 would be, you are always threatened no matter what. Every second that you are repairing a gen, you are under a very, very large risk. The idea is that no one is going to be a 1 and no one is going to be a 10, but you have to set these extreme bounds so that everything falls more towards the middle and stuff like that. Next would be downing potential. And this is just the ability for the killer to down you fast. And that pretty much stays the same. I wanted to simplify or clarify on the bounds of that. 1 would be they have literally nothing. They're just an M1 killer with no power whatsoever. And 10 would be they can down you extremely fast, and it doesn't even matter how good you are as a survivor. Those are basically the bounds for that. Whereas like probably Nurse and Spirit would be like a 9 there. I don't think there's any killer that can immediately... It would be like if Billy could like Nurse Blink. That would be a 10. Next, I changed the whole add-on system quite a bit. I had 2 values, A1 and A2. A1 was the strength of the killer without add-ons. A2 was the strength of the killer with add-ons. And it was sort of redundant because that's almost a separate tier list in itself. Because the whole point of this is determining a killer strength. So how can I say a killer strength with the add-on if it's nested in... You know what I mean? It was redundant. So I took away the whole A1, A2 thing, and I just made it into a bonus that's not actually divided. So it's just add-on strength now. And it's 15%. It's on the same scale, and the weighting is 15%. But it is now a bonus instead. And it's just simply the strength of their best add-ons. How much stronger they can be with their best add-ons. And a 1 would be add-ons have pretty much no impact on their gameplay. They play the exact same even with their ultra rares or their rares, whatever their best ones are. And 10 would be, something like Iridescent Head, where it completely changes how ridiculous the killer can be. Like I said, this is now a bonus. It's added on after everything else. That's why the weighting is so low. But I think it ends up working out decently well. The thing is, I had to make it a bonus because I didn't want to punish killers that are good without add-ons. It made no sense to do that, so it has to be a bonus like that. Next is something I didn't even account for at all on the last one, which is Snowball Potential. It is the ability for the killer to quickly go from having no one down to everyone down. Killers like Oni and like Huntress and Nurse are extremely good at snowballing, and that's actually an extremely important thing. Not as much as just how quickly you can down people in general or map control, but it's still very important. So a 1 would be the killer has no way to chain pressure down together, so there's no way to get people like in the same area. There's no way to down that person quick and switch off and down this person quick and things like that. And a 10 would be like basically an Oni on crack. I would say an Oni in his power is a 10, but he's not always in his power, so I wouldn't give him a 10 for that. And And lastly would be map versatility. I wanted to simplify the whole dependency on maps things a bit more into a term that's easier to understand, and it's just how reliant the killer is on a map to determine how strong they are. A 1 would be the killer is very, very reliant on the map, and a 10 would be the map is completely irrelevant. Again, I don't think anyone's a 1, I don't think anyone is a 10, but those are the scales that I would use for it. And that comes down to a bit of a modification as well. So now we basically have 3 total things to divide by. So it's divided by 3 now, and we have the add-on bonus at the end. So we have the overall strength equals the map pressure plus the downing potential of the killer, and then plus half of the snowball potential plus half of the map versatility, all divided by 3, and then you add the add-on potential after that because it's a bonus. And I plugged in a couple of things. I plugged in like Clown for bottom, and I plugged in Nurse for top. Nurse came out to like a 9.5 or something like that. Clown was like a 4.8. So it's a bit more of a wider scale, which I think is good as well. No one's going to be a 1. No one's going to be a 10. But I think this is a lot better. And I added a little footnote here in case I upload this actual image. It has to be very clear that no matter what you do, this will always be subjective. No matter what. It is impossible for this to not be subjective. So saying that these are just your opinions, like, of course, that's what a tier list is. It's your opinions. But that is mostly it. I think this is a lot clearer, and I'm sure there's some room for improvement, but I didn't want to make it too complicated because then it's just a giant pain in the ass making this. So I think 4 values is enough. It's not going to be crystal clear. It never will be because it's always subjective and things like that. But I hope this is a decent improvement and something a bit clearer to use. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.